Hey everyone, Dread Joker here again, and today we're going to be taking a look at what single-handedly saved me from writing off the entirety of the real grade line as just junk. I know that's going to offend a lot of people who specifically like the real grade line. My first experience was the real grade Strike Freedom, and it has gold butter plastic for the inner frame. I know what's going to happen if I move it. This is what single-handedly saved my opinion of just never touching a real grade again. This should need no introduction. This is the RG Sazabi. This is, quite frankly, one of the best kits I have ever built. But, and this, like, keep in mind, this is just my opinion, and I'm probably going to piss everybody off with this. While I do love this kit, this was a very enjoyable build. Like, I thoroughly enjoyed this. There are some parts of this that will drive you insane if you are not paying attention. Specifically, if you're not paying attention, you will completely destroy the assembly in the shoulder, because this part from here that goes down here, which is part of the forward rotation, does not want to go on all the way. I actually had to go in with my nippers and basically use them as a pair of pliers to force the parts together, because otherwise the shoulder would be sitting somewhere up along where his neck would be. And then the armor wouldn't go on, so it would be broken anyways. Just when you're building this, pay attention, and if you see like this itty bitty like white mark up here, that's a flex mark, because when building this on both sides, I didn't realize that this was it's a long peg, but the problem is it's a misleading one, because this whole armor panel does not actually sit flush. There is a bit of a gap that sticks out, like a bit of a little lip that sticks out over the edge of where you think it should go. So when you're trying to force it together, that's what happens. It'll try and bust its way through. So you'll see two of those on here, but aside from that, I really can't say there are any really horrendous nubs on this, save for, like, maybe on the rifle, but, I mean, that's understandable. That's dark plastic. I've done no additional effort on this. I couldn't even sticker this, really. I tried using the silver stickers they gave me, and I sneezed and half of them went away. Also, I'm just going to go ahead and say this, and everybody is probably going to agree with me. The RG sticker sheets suck. I don't know what the hell these things are made out of, but oh my god, there is no getting these damn things off this sheet. Like, you can see on the back here that I have taken a nice... This was flat when I got it, and now there is a groove busting up through here because I could not get the only stickers other than the eyes and obviously the scopes I applied to actually go on here, so I ended up almost destroying the sticker sheet for the decals, and you know what? I'm not bothering with it anymore. It is staying like this forever. I don't care. Getting into this. This is, as far as real grades go, this has master grade engineering. Straight up. It has some interesting engineering in areas, to put it gently. The legs are very thick. Just follow the instructions. You shouldn't have many problems, but really pay attention. I kind of got all this put together and realized I missed a part, so I had to take it all apart, and it works. Just make sure you're not doing what I did and actually pay attention. You've got a joint down here at the lower part of the toe, which works pretty well. You've got a joint in here. This area can sometimes come undone. You've got a joint at this armor segment here. You've got a joint here in the heel, which I should... Actually, he's not even sitting flush to the ground right now, so... But you've got a joint here in the heel that can go all the way up or fold nearly all the way down, kind of like a claw. The armor segments on the legs can flare out as part of the armor expansion / transformation, or 3 times faster mode, however you want to call it. They can do that to some extent. It's not nearly as heavy as like on the Verka, but I mean, the Verka is about 2 or 3 inches taller than this with ball jointed hips, so That's kind of why nobody puts it up on an action base. There's no posing those legs. But you got this armor flap here in the front that moves down, it pulls down, you can see some more inner detail. And they want you to put like a bunch of metallic stickers on the inside of here from the sticker sheet and then cover them up with all this armor. So even when you move the armor, you're barely going to see them. But majority of this kit is undergated. So that means like some of the parts have, instead of the gates being placed on the sides like on the beam sabers and stuff, they'd be placed somewhere near like the bottom where the nub would be, like once you got it sanded down or cut off, sanded down, however you guys or ladies build your models, it would be completely hidden. Not everybody's good at cleaning this up. I have one kit that I had to do that with and it was a nightmare. But there's only a few bad areas, not counting like the inner frame. The inner frame is entirely standard. But yes, this does have a full inner frame that you have to build from scratch. So the price on this is actually warranted if you want a good mess around Sazabi figure that you don't have to worry about so much, but you just got to be gentle with. One notable feature that this has that I literally did not think they would bother with is it actually has a cockpit. Yeah. You wouldn't think it does, but it does. It's not fully opening, obviously, but you move that part up, and then you basically pull an IBO here and make it go Gray's eye, and as you can see, there's a nice line going through that eye. Like I said, the sticker sheet sucks. So that's what happens. If you fold the eye, these stickers are so thin, they stay folded. So getting that smoothed out was oh so much fun. Sealing it up is pretty easy. It just does everything back together, but as you can see, like, because of that clear part there, and I'm not dissing the clear part, I like that it's there, you can't see that eye barely at all. Like, you can see the cockpit up underneath the head, so anybody who gets up underneath trying to go for the whole neck shot, yeah, they're winning that battle by a long shot. Accessories you get with this kit are pretty good, actually. You get the, obviously you get his lovely beam shot rifle, which is pretty much the exact same one from the kit that this is supposedly based on, the Vargil, I don't know how to say it. It's the one that the Moon Gundam uses as the base, then got turned into this. So it's that kit. The only other decal I used, and there is no getting this on straight, I don't care who you are, is the crest here that does not, like, you can see, like, I tried to smooth this thing out, but there is no getting it down. This sticker is a nightmare. I would have just much rather, like, they raise the cost by $3 or $4, and then just have this be, like, just have to us paint this on ourselves. Like, just paint the gold on. Just have this, like, either here or have it as a part from the bottom, because this is there's a large freaking gap. This whole channel back here, not counting this little yellow section right here, which just runs right through here, this whole channel back here is completely hollow. So I don't understand why that had to be a sticker when they could figure it out on the Re 100 Yog Doga, so... like, just the whole Bandai development team makes no sense sometimes. This can go on the arm, somewhat. It goes on, but if you're looking for, like, a good side pose, this is gonna fall off like crazy. It just tabs into the arm, and it will not go in all the way, so... your choices are this. I'm sorry, your choice. It's either on or off. The shield can only be mounted to the back of the arm like this. Generally, that's how the Sazabi had it anyways, but almost every other kit in this line gives you the option to mount the shield, if it's provided, on the side of the arm, or have an angle to kind of turn it. And since this has master grade engineering, I'm like, why? But, like I said, this is just my opinion. I kind of like my kits to be having, like if I'm going to have their accessories on them, I want to have them displayed on the side of the arm versus on the back of the arm. Other notable accessories, you get the beam sabers. However, they do not actually store on the kit itself. So you're always going to have the beam saber handles flopping around. Get yourself a Ziploc. You're going to have, depending on how you do this, you may have a few beam effects left over, or you may have just two or three beam effects left over. Depends on how you want to display it. So you do get these really nice, and I'm just going to turn my lamp off here so you can see that these are interestingly like rushing energy effects. They do even have a gap here in the plastic that it's on both of the blades. It's literally for when the energy is rushing. I actually like that they did this. This is a nice little itty-bitty detail, and you don't see that too often. To hold the beam sabers, you have to use one of his different sets of hands, so let's just get into his spare parts right now. It's only two. There's only two spare parts. And they are very underwhelming. Because of that he has only one trigger finger hand, yet they give you two of the same runner that it comes on, you end up with a spare back plate for it and a spare wrist mounting joint. So if they could have decided to give him left-handed trigger hand, and then you could go weapons akimbo, but no! Lefty's got to be left out. That's fine, that's fine. They give you this. This is his lovely beam axe, and I love that you can just have all of these together, and I've actually compared this to the Verkaz. So on the Verka, these ones up here, like this is a good scale of it. But the middle blade here is about 2.5 centimeters, roughly, I'm not good with the metrics, shorter. So there is, instead of this, like the rushing energy and this minor gap up here, there's a massive gap up here. Because the energy just doesn't want to go out. He can hold this pretty well. Like I said, though, you got to use one of the standard holding hands for him. You can't just put it in any hand. Does not work. But if you don't want to have him holding the beam sabers, they do actually give you 4 heads for the beam sabers. 2 for the sabers themselves, 2 to shove up his sleeves. So that means he can totally do... Come on, go in there. The UC Assassin. So, I just love this. I love the fact that he actually can just walk up and do the Assassin's Creed just with a beam saber through the face. Articulation is very different because of how engineered this thing is. So, the shoulder pads can expand. The front and rear segments are on these double joints because this only uses 4 actual real grade parts. The waist segment, like where the armor connects, the shoulder pad connectors, just for the base for the shoulder pad, and then 1 joint in the arms. And it's literally just for the wrists. It's just the wrist and this segment right in here. So they kept the RG segments to an absolute minimum. Thank you. The only one I have, like, I'm looking forward to try the Talgies, but I just can't find it. You got a lot, and this thing has way too much articulation going on for it. You do have 1 modifiable part on here. I have left mine the way it comes. I don't think it's really worth it. In his rear skirting here, if you remove all of this, there is a little peg. I say little, it's sizable. And you're going to have to cut it off and sand it all the way down because it's on a track. And if you do that, he can actually have an ab crunch forward. But in order to get that, or even turn this top part side to side, you have to come down here and bring the front crotch segment, just bring it forward so that way it's kind of messing up the thrusters here. That is the only way to get his upper body to rotate. Otherwise, the barrel segment is pretty much lodged in between these segments here. But the arms, like, I can't really run through the full thing because this review would go on for like the next 30 minutes if it did. You can pull that armor segment forward and drop the arm down a little bit, which will let you, and it always wants to bend up here on my copy first. Bend it down here first, otherwise you're only going to get 90. But once you do that, it pulls this armor segment out from back here, which is stored in here, brings that down, then has pistol action, so piston action. Like, I wish this thing had pistols. That would just be like icing on the cake for Sazabi. When all else fails, just bring out a pistol. The articulation is way, like, this is the kit killer for when it comes to the 144 Sazabis. This completely annihilated them. There's no reason, really, aside from price and availability, to get the standard high grade. Unless you're looking to do some custom painting, then I'd probably lean for the high grade if you're looking for rifles, spare parts, etc. Decent kit. Probably the most interesting piece of engineering on here is on the funnel racks. Because, and this is where the majority of the bad nubs are. But as you can see, there's some, like, this whole panel here is really weird. Because when you pull this, you may have noticed that when I pulled this whole armor segment just kind of pulled up. That's because it's on a little, like, when you're building this is on one of the most interesting mechanisms. When you pull this, it forces these panels up because the pegs are, they're rhombuses. That's the only way I can describe it. Just picture a soccer goal in your head. Now imagine a bus just came and hit it. They're slanted. They're very askew. But they do this so that you can actually open these instead of just having to rip out the funnels, which do deploy, I will admit, without an action base, I hate these. Without the jet funnel effect, or the jet effect set from the figure eyes, I will never have these outside of the suit. When it comes to any mobile suit that has funnels, I will never have them outside of the suit so long as I don't have something to secure them to. So, but moving around to his back, we have some different articulation back here too, and also getting these on are really tricky because in order to get these on, you have to bring them in like this and then twist them until the peg goes in. But if you twist them too fast or at the wrong angle, you shear the part off. So I'm going to give Bandai props for designing it this way and ask them what the hell they were on. Or at least whoever was designing the manual, because I followed the manual to the letter. And that's the end result. You can just bring them forward and turn them to get that all out. Now, I'm sure if anybody had gone in here and like painted all this detail with like a chroming pen or something to really make it pop, this would look beautiful. Like, all the molded details there, so this does have a lot of great potential. But that engineering is just wrong. You can also grab this panel here and bring it back, and when you do that, it's connected to this joint down here. This engine does kind of want to fall out sometimes, so maybe want to glue that, everybody. It works. It's a little tricky to build, but it works. The fuel tanks, I mean, they're fuel tanks. They're three parts. They're two halves that you stick together, and then you put this cap on the bottom. Nothing, enough said. His butt, you can come back down here. You can grab the sides and splay them out. It can't, like, this whole segment down here is completely locked. There is no working with it, so it doesn't do like what the Verka does. Like, they scaled down the Verka, they cut some corners, and we got this. Still, for about 43, 45 bucks, maybe 50 if you're shopping at a local store, it's good. This is the size of your average master grade. This is like a solid 6, 8 inches, so. And I do mean solid. All that shaking, and he does have variable position hips, but very weirdly engineered. So the hips, in order to actually make them and use the variable position, you have to come down here to his crotch and drop it down, then you can slide it, then you can kind of lock it back in place. Otherwise, if you don't do this, you're going to break the joint. Straight up, you're just going to break it. There's no fixing it. It's broke. But that brings me to a weird segment. Because of how this is designed, you can splay the skirting really far. Interesting design, to put it gently. Oh, that's not true. I did apply one other sticker. I just remembered. Just remembered just now. I did apply one other sticker, and it's the silver one that goes on the bottom of the gun, so that way it actually has something behind there. I didn't want to just buy a chroming pen and then have it chip off, and I'm like, screw it. But this is a really solid kit. Like, solid as a rock. I can't get into all the articulation. Honestly, if you just want to see all the articulation, go watch MGo's or Mecha Guy Kotsu's video. They can cover it up. They cover it a hell of a lot faster than I will. So, yeah, if you enjoyed this or are interested in this kit at all, want to really ask anything, really, if you're just interested in this thing or just want to talk about it, please leave a message down below in the comments. I'm happy to get back to you on it. I love this thing. This thing, like I said, I was ready to write the whole real grade line off, and this saved it. This single-handedly saved the real grades for me. So I do plan on checking out the new Gundam eventually, but I'm gonna be springing for the full, like, the version that comes with the effects set. Let me say that, because that one's gonna, when you weigh it all out, it comes out exactly even, maybe a difference of like $1 or so. And when the difference is $1, and you don't have to buy an action base or the effects part separately, you end up coming ahead. So, thank you very much for watching. Please leave a comment down below. I will be happy to get back to you. Peace.